Let's start off, Tommy, the Copa del Rey final. Barcelona winning. A perfect send-off for Pep.
Yeah, it certainly, you know, this it became very important for Pep to win this in Pep's mind. I mean, you could see his reaction. I mean, Barcelona came out of the gate, they came out like a shot. But, I mean, Pep is generally not a hugging coach. But he was a hugging coach today. He hugged everybody around him every time they scored. And it was not a very normal reaction for Pep because he's very, very laid back. So I could see that it was very emotional. He wanted to go out with a blaze of glory. And certainly Barcelona did not let him down.
A lot of love on the touchline, Gab. An emotional goodbye, obviously, for Pep Guardiola, but what an incredible term he's had. As we can see here, what, 11 or 12 finals, and he's won 11 of them.
Yeah, and the one he didn't win, if I'm not mistaken, was the Copa del Rey final against Real Madrid, and that took extra time. It's, you know, we've used so many superlatives about Pep Guardiola over the years. I think it's 257 games as Barcelona manager. Never once have they not had the majority of the possession. I think 1 in 7 of the games Barcelona have scored 5 goals in. You know, you kind of run out of superlatives, you run out of numbers. But to me, that stat you mentioned, though, of the 11 and 12 finals, that really says a lot, because it also says that, you know, in tough situations, this team could come together and could peak. He's going to be missed, no question about it.
You, of course, played with him back in Qatar. Did you know then, did you have a sense then, I tell you what, this man is going to be special if he becomes a coach?
Well, he was definitely special already as a player. He has the knowledge and the culture of Barcelona, and he's a very clever person and very smart individual, and there's no doubt that his success comes from his behavior and his culture. I'm very pleased of what happened to him, and leaving the club with the Copa del Rey is absolutely fantastic. Now he's going to rest, and hopefully he's going to come back to football, and I want to see him. Person and very smart individual, and there's no doubt that I want to see him back because he's so classy, and we need those new coaches, you know, refresh the world of football.
I imagine, Frank, as well, from a personal point of view, after this year's sabbatical, you wouldn't mind seeing him at Chelsea.
Well, I would be the first to be pleased, of course, you know, and I want to know what's going to happen before, you know, if Roberto Di Matteo, of course, is going to be the coach or not. But of course, you know, that would be fantastic, because the only thing, you know, I can be critical about Chelsea is the way they play their football, and it's absolutely not entertaining. And of course, with Guardiola, it's going to be different, obviously different. So I'm really looking forward to seeing what he's going to do, and if he picks Chelsea, I will be the first to be pleased.
It's interesting, Gab, isn't it? There's been some misquotes flying around in the media regarding what Pep said yesterday, saying that he is going to take a few months off, not a month, which I think was quoted in by some sources. But he also mentioned that he'd be flattered, could be shown to him by other clubs. What do you think he meant by that?
Look, it's funny, you know, we try to interpret everything this guy says, you know, as if he's like Alan Greenspan of the Federal Reserve. I don't think there's too much, you know, mystery here. He's taking time off from football because he's exhausted. He likes coaching football. He could do a million different things in the world. He knows his next job won't be at Barcelona. So, of course, he wants to have that option open. He wants to, remind people of the fact that he's taking a sabbatical. He's not retiring forever. But right now, every indication I've had is the guy wants to rest. He doesn't want to think about football. He wants to empty his mind, and spend some time with his family. And then at some point he'll be ready to come back. And when he comes back, no question about it, teams will be, tripping all over each other to go and try to bring him on board. But right now, every indication is that this is what he's thinking. He doesn't need to send messages. He's Pep Guardiola.
Tommy, you've got a theory, though, haven't you, where he's going to be? Maybe not next season, but certainly for his next job?
Yeah, I mean, there are strong rumours in London that he has already purchased some property. If he hasn't already purchased it, it looks like he is about to purchase it. And this, by saying what he's done, he really has opened the doors. I mean, I suppose he didn't have to tell anybody that he was available. But, hey, he could sit back now and maybe there will be a few nibbles here. So he'll know what he's dealing with. Somebody may come and say, yeah, well, Pep, how about forgetting about sitting out for the year? How about if we took you in for next year? And I think it'll be very, very interesting to see. I would be very disappointed if he just used all this thing about having a break as a smokescreen to get away from Barcelona. I would be very disappointed. So I just don't think he's going to come back this year.
Let's talk about another man who's dominated the headlines regarding Barcelona. Gab, Leo Messi scored, of course. He had to, didn't he, in the Copa del Rey final. His 73rd goal of the season. Extraordinary statistics.
73 goals, I think it's 60 games. Like I said, he and Cristiano Ronaldo all season long have operated in this parallel universe where everything we know or we thought we knew about numbers and what constitutes a good scoring season for a striker, all of this has gone out the window. And he's taken us back to the days of Dixie Dean and in the 1930s and when people used to score for fun, days that we thought would never come back. That's how good Messi is, and that's how good Cristiano Ronaldo is.
Well, I suppose Leo Messi always dreamed, didn't he, Frank Leboeuf, of becoming Andrew Cole, who has been very vocal with regards to Chelsea and their future in an article that he wrote for the national newspaper. I just want to quote the first paragraph. The clamour for Roberto Di Matteo to be appointed Chelsea manager full-time after winning the Champions League last week is driven by ecstatic fans who don't get the full picture. I can understand why the club have been hesitant. He then goes on, Frank, and I know you've read this article, to lambast Di Matteo, not only as a coach, but also as a player. What do you make of this all?
Well, I'm very disappointed and quite appalled, I have to say. Of course, and I said before, the way Chelsea played under Di Matteo was a very